Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 11 Pro Max and compare it against the iPhone 12 and see which specific iPhone you should go ahead and buy in 2023. Now, I definitely do think that if you have the money, going for the latest iPhone like the iPhone 12 might be the better way to go. But I also do think a phone like an iPhone 12 is still, I think the iPhone 11 Pro Max is still a very, very good phone as well. So if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both of these phones, you can clearly see that there are some key differences between both of them. The iPhone 11 Pro Max, which came out back in 2019, was a pretty good looking phone, and I honestly like this phone a lot. It has a 6.5-inch Super Retina OLED display on the front, and it's a pretty good looking panel. You have the notch, you have, a little bit of bezel around it. It still has a curved side to it, so it's not flat. But I've always liked the way this phone looks, and even now in 2023, it's still a very decent looking panel for sure. Now on the iPhone 12, on the other hand, this is a smaller 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. And I will say in some ways this panel is better in some ways, but it's really not a big difference at all. I still feel like the iPhone 11 Pro Max's panel is still very, very good. Now on this one, you're getting basically the same size notch. You're getting the same size, basically everything else. However, there are a few key differences here. For one, you are getting this flat display right here. So it's flat, but it's a flat-sided phone, which I've always liked. I think it's pretty cool. But that is one thing that you're getting with this phone that some other phones, like the older iPhones, really aren't getting you. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But I like how both these phones kind of hold up in that regard. Now, on top of that, both these phones kind of have a different styling to them too, right here. So with the iPhone 12, you are getting this, flat side. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has a flat side. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has a curved side, not a flat one. But the volume buttons were kind of in the same spot. And the iPhone 12 definitely is a much smaller phone than the iPhone 11 Pro Max in every single angle. But the iPhone 12 is a smaller phone in pretty much every single angle. I also want to add that quite potentially the bottom. I mean, this phone is just so much heavier too, to be honest. But both these phones are very solid when they first come out. But both these phones are still very, very good. They're not super thick, but it's one of those things. Lightning ports at the bottom, and on the back, both of these phones have glass backs. But the iPhone 12 has that standard glass back, while the iPhone 11 Pro Max has a frosted glass back. So this is going to be one of the bigger differences here, and probably one of the reasons why I look at a phone like an iPhone 11 Pro Max as almost more superior in some ways than an iPhone 12. And that's the thing that kind of stands out to me when you're actually getting a phone like iPhone 11 Pro Max. Although it is a little bit older, you are getting a phone that looks newer in a way with an extra camera setup as well. So kind of a funny thing to kind of keep in mind there. You're getting Apple logos right here. You're getting your wireless charging on both, which is always super nice to have. And that is it. I mean, you're getting MagSafe right here too, which is pretty cool. And beyond that, I mean, there's a lot of overlap. There's not really a crazy amount of differences, at least on the outside. Again, bigger phone on the 11 Pro Max. Both are iPhones, but the 11 Pro Max, even though it's older, is a better looking phone in my opinion. So from that perspective, that kind of covers it up there. Now on top of that, with a phone like the iPhone 11 Pro Max, you are getting, I would say, a very, very solid phone. It's still supported with software, but who knows how long this phone's going to last. I mean, there's a chance this phone may not even get, as many software updates as something like the iPhone 12, but this is still going to be a phone that's going to be supported for probably another 2 years to 3 years, which is always a really nice thing to have. So when you're getting a phone like an iPhone 11 Pro Max, this is a phone that's still going to be supported for a few more years, which is perfect. The iPhone 12, I feel like it's not just getting started, but it's probably going to last longer than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I think that's quite clear. Whenever you're getting a phone like an iPhone 12 in this example, you're going to be getting a phone that's probably going to be lasting longer. So just one of those things to keep in mind. So let's go and do a speed comparison now between both of these phones. The iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, with the iPhone 11 Pro Max has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go see which one's a faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, so let us get into it. Phone calls, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Let's do music, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that one covers that one up. Let's do their app stores, 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone 11 Pro Max was better there. iPhone 12 slightly slower, but not like the biggest deal in the world. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into podcast, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think the iPhone 11 Pro Max was slightly faster there. Mail, 3, 2, 1. Okay, pretty good between both. Photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, very similar, but kind of different. Camera, three, two, one. Okay, totally messed that one up on my side. Let's go and take a photo, three, two, one. Of course, we have the stop thing right there, which is insane. Let's do Apple TV, three, two, one. And you can see right there, both were on two different panels, so it's kind of tough to give that one to like one over the other. Settings, three, two, one. Roughly around the same. So let's load up some of these bigger applications. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now I know there's going to be 30,000 pop-ups that come up, so I'm going to have to kind of play it by ear. If one comes up over the other one, I'll have to exit out of them. You can see the iPhone 11 Pro Max was faster. The iPhone 12, tiny bit slower. Not the end of the world, but it's just one of those things to kind of keep in mind there. You can see the iPhone 11 Pro Max was the faster one, where the iPhone 12 was a little tiny bit slower. Let's go and get into another one. We can try Genshin Impact, which I guess we don't have here. I wonder if we have Subway Surfers on this phone. We better have Subway Surfers if I'm being honest. If not, I'm going to cry. And we do 3, 2, 1. And I think this iPhone has an aftermarket display too, because these are showing very, very different colors. The iPhone 11 Pro Max slightly a little bit faster than what we were getting on the iPhone 12. Try stack, 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Between both, you can see both are pretty good. There's not really too much to complain about. I think the 11 Pro Max, again, was the faster one. We can try another one like Thank You, 3, 2, 1. And roughly around the same thing here too. So when it kind of comes down to both of these phones, I think they're both very, very fast, but I think you're probably getting the faster phone on the iPhone 12 more times than not. But it is still very interesting that the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 11 Pro Max is still kind of keeping up and sometimes beating the iPhone 12, which is pretty crazy. So that kind of covers up there as well. Now, hitting on the cameras, you can see for yourself that both of these are somewhat different, but they're kind of similar. The iPhone 12 has a dual camera setup. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has a triple camera setup. Both can do 4K at 60 on the back. Both can do 4K at 60 on the front as well, which is pretty cool. Now, you are missing an ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 12, but I still think that's totally okay. With getting a phone like an iPhone 12, it's still a very, very good sensor. Now, with the iPhone 11 Pro Max that came out in 2019, you were getting lots of features built in with this camera. So 0.5x zoom, you're getting 10x zoom as well. You're getting video mode, slow mode, portrait mode, panorama mode. Lots of stuff going on with this camera. But I will say the jump from an iPhone 11 to a 12 camera really wasn't that big of a difference. Even between an 11 Pro Max to a 12 Pro Max, although it visually looked different in terms of like the phones, the photos and the cameras really were somewhat identical, which was very interesting to me. With the iPhone 12, I would say this is a very good sensor for the most part, but it's not perfect. With a phone like this, you're getting 0.5x zoom, you're getting 5x zoom, so you're getting more zooming in and zooming out capability on the 11 Pro Max than the iPhone 12, which can be kind of an issue or an annoyance for some people. On top of that, you're getting fairly good camera. There's not a lot to complain about here. You're getting portrait mode, panorama mode, you're getting video mode and slow mode as well. But I would still probably argue that for the most part, you're definitely getting a better phone on like an iPhone 12 than an iPhone 11 Pro Max, but you are missing that telephoto lens. So take it as you will. And to kind of sum up this video, what I'll tell you is I definitely do think a phone like the iPhone 12 is very good. I like this phone a lot, and I do think it's very, very solid. But I kind of do think if I had to buy one, I kind of think I would rather have an iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's a bigger phone. It's built a little bit better, like the frosted glass back. It has an extra camera sensor, which is nice. And it didn't seem that much slower today, which was very, very surprising to me. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how both of these phones kind of compare in 2023. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.